right, we are gonna gather our supplies and tools so that you can begin planting your seeds. Now, I love to say, you'll hear me say this quite a lot, don't wait until you got everything perfect to get going. The first time around when I tried starting my own seeds, I used the silliest little things. I had some plastic salad boxes from the grocery store. You know, those kind you don't buy anymore because you grow your own salad. I had some of those, so I poked some holes in the bottom, and that's how I started my first set of seeds. I also used egg shells. Like, anybody ever seen the cute little Instagram posts of people growing seeds in eggshells? Yeah, I tried that. I even used an egg carton. So I would take an egg carton after I finished with the eggs, pull it apart, poke some holes in each of the egg cartons, the little dozen things, you know, put some soil in there and started seeds. I just got started, and that's what I want you to do as well. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you what I use now for a setup, but you can get started with an egg carton or an egg shell. Just get it going, okay? All right, so first let's talk about our containers that we're gonna use to grow seeds. You definitely need something that has drainage. So I do not want you to be starting seeds in anything that doesn't have a hole in it. So that's because seeds need to drain. They do not need to sit in water. So even the simplest containers are always gonna have a drainage hole included. So these, you can see, actually closely resemble an egg carton. And you can see how each of these has a hole in the bottom. So you have these as an option. I bought these to be able to show you, but I will say I have found these degrade so quickly that I honestly prefer using plastic. I know plastic isn't great, and as gardeners we try to avoid it, but I use these again and again and again. I wash them, sterilize them, and use them again next season. So I'm really not, you know, adding, I know eventually these will go into the recycling or whatever, but I'm really getting lots and lots of usages out of these plastic containers. So these all have drainage holes as well. Anything you use, if you want to start with a bigger pot, you can do so like these. But again, these have a drainage hole. So whatever you're starting your seeds in, please, please, please be sure that they have a drainage hole. These are called root trainers, and these basically fold together. It's gonna be a little noisy. They fold together like this so that you can give your plants a deeper rooting system. That's why they're called root trainers. But check that out. There's holes in the bottom, and that is because, you know, that's the drainage so that the water can run out of these plants. So whatever container you want to use, you have to have a draining container. Then you need a container that holds water, that is not draining. So in this case, I've just got a tray like this, and it needs to fit the draining cells inside of it. So I love using these. They're very, very simple to use, and I just put my cell tray into the non-draining tray. Now you can buy these as kits. They come with a dome. So this is called a dome, and you're only going to use this at the very outset of planting your seeds. I oftentimes, honestly, never use them, but you can find and buy kits where all three of these pieces come together. So if you don't want to use the plastic dome, you can use wet burlap or like a kitchen cloth. Any kind of thing that you're going to use to drape over your seeds as soon as they're planted to keep the moisture and the water in. So that's it for container. Basically, it's a 3-part container, a draining piece, a non-draining piece that holds the draining piece, and then a dome or some system that will contain and keep the water in until the seed germinates. The next thing you're going to need is seed starting mix. You can make your own seed starting mix. I've definitely done it. If you've read my book, Kitchen Garden Revival, or if you've watched Kitchen Garden Academy, I give you my 103 soil blend, and you can absolutely use that to start seeds indoors. That's a mix of compost, topsoil, and coarse sand. It works for starting seeds. The only caveat I would add is you want a little bit less sand because we do need this soil to be fluffy. The sand helps that, so does the compost. But we also need it to hold together a little bit more than our garden soil does. Simplest, easiest way to get started is an organic seed starting mix like this one. I generally try to stay away from peat moss. I try not to use non-renewable resources like peat, but that is what's in almost all seed starting mixes. You may be able to find some that are made of cocoa coir instead. If so, I would highly recommend that as an alternative. You can look it up, but basically peat moss is a non-renewable resource that we've been taking out of the peat bogs at too quickly of a rate. All that to say, the only place I use peat is just in these small bags of seed starting mix. So you need some seed starting mix. You also need some water. You'll have water to begin, and then you'll need water as you grow on. The next thing you've got to have to grow your seeds indoors is an artificial source of light. So you can take a light like this one and set up, lots of trays with lights on top of them. You want to be sure that the light can raise and lower, because when your seeds first start, you're going to need the light very close to the seeds in the soil. And then as those seeds grow and mature, you want to be able to raise the light to go higher above the plants. One of my favorite new contraptions that you could use right away, you don't have to have any fancy light setup, is this nice new little clippy idea. So these lights come complete with a clip that you can put onto a shelf or tabletop. And then these lights are LEDs. They are full spectrum lights that you can extend right over your tray, your seed tray. What I love about these is because of the coil on them, you can raise and lower them over the seeds as they grow, and you don't have to have any fancy light pulley system or anything like that. So it's super convenient and easy to use. So you need to have a light system to be able to successfully grow seeds indoors. A lot of people are going to try to grow seeds in windowsills. I am one of them, but I will just say there's so many challenges with growing seeds from a windowsill. It's very rare that seed is going to get enough light, and you'll often end up with seedlings that are very leggy, that are leaning, or that just never can get enough light to grow to their full maturity. You're going to have a brand new appreciation for the sunshine and just the magic that the sun gives to our plants when they grow in nature. All right, just a few more things that you might want to have, and that is a form of labeling. So I have these nice little sticks. You can do some popsicle sticks. You can even just do a little tape on the side of the seed tray. You want to be sure you always name the seed type, name the company that you bought the seed from, and then the date you planted it. Those are really important things you want to keep in mind as you grow, so you can track your progress and learn from your experiences. If you don't like getting dirty, you might want to have a good pair of gloves. I love these bamboo gardener gloves. They are my favorite. In fact, I just had to buy myself a new pair because my other ones are so filthy. Finally, you might want a little dibber. Dibbers are nice to give you little bitty indentations as you start to plant out your seeds. You don't have to have a dibber. You can just use your finger. I kind of love dibbers. It's like one of my things as a gardener. So if you want to join me in the dibber fan club, go for it. All right, these are the things that you need to start your seeds, and that is it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. You need some seeds. In fact, you're going to need a lot of seeds. So we'll talk more about the varieties of seeds that you can grow and start indoors and which ones you should prioritize. But in the meantime, these are all the supplies you need to start gathering so that you're ready to plant. So your homework is to make a list of the things you're going to prioritize purchasing, maybe even plan which thing you're going to buy first, and then, go to town and maybe go to that plant nursery, and instead of buying plants, buy some seed starting supplies. All right, I will see you in the next lesson.